Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in every life when we stand before a choice that feels like the opening of a door. 3 doors, in fact, each inviting us in with promises of comfort, satisfaction, or even escape. Yet beyond these doors, waiting like shadows in the wings, are demons. Each door offers a different path, and though their allure is strong, they all ultimately lead us into darkness, away from the light of truth and the fullness of life. The first door invites us into the realm of immediate gratification. It is the door that promises quick relief, comfort when we are weary, pleasure when we are dissatisfied, escape when we are in pain. It whispers that life is too short to endure hardship, that we should take the easy road, indulge in the fleeting joys that distract us from our discomforts. But once through that door, we quickly discover that the pleasure is fleeting and the relief temporary. Each time we open this door, we create a craving that grows ever stronger, until we are no longer in control, but controlled by the very thing we sought to use as a balm. The demon behind this door is one of addiction, the endless pursuit of satisfaction that never arrives, the constant need for more, which leaves us hollow, restless, and trapped. The second door is perhaps even more insidious. It is the door that leads to pride and self-righteousness. When we step through this door, we begin to believe that we are superior, that our opinions, our beliefs, our very actions are above reproach. It is the temptation to think of ourselves as more deserving, more capable, more important than others. We begin to judge, to distance ourselves from those who disagree, and to justify behaviors and thoughts that suit our sense of self-importance. Behind this door lurks a demon of isolation, not of physical distance, but of spiritual and emotional estrangement. We close our hearts to empathy, to humility, to the idea that we are all flawed and in need of grace. This door divides us from the truth of our shared humanity and creates barriers between us and the very people we are meant to love. The third door is the one that invites us into isolation. It whispers to us when the world feels too overwhelming, when the weight of life's burden seems too much to bear. It promises safety in retreat, an escape from the struggles, the chaos, and the demands of the world. It tells us that we deserve peace, that we should avoid the harshness of human relationships, that withdrawing is the only way to protect ourselves. It tells us that we deserve respite from the world around us, that we should avoid the harshness of human relationships, that withdrawing is the only way to protect ourselves. But behind this door, the demon of loneliness waits, drawing us further away from connection, from meaning, from purpose. The more we retreat, the more we lose touch with the very things that make us human, the bonds of friendship, the shared struggles, the joys of community, the strength found in standing together. This door offers no real peace, only the isolation of the soul, the deepening of the emptiness that arises when we disconnect from others. Each of these doors presents a choice, an invitation that seems harmless or even desirable in the moment. Yet behind every door, a demon lurks, gaining strength with every step we take down the path it offers. We may think that we can control the doors we open, that we are simply indulging in harmless pleasures, upholding our own selfishness, or protecting ourselves from the world. But in truth, it is the demons who take control, subtly at first, and then with greater force. They feed on our weaknesses, our desires, our fears, and lead us further from the path we are meant to walk. There is, however, another way, a path that does not lead through these tempting doors, the way of courage, of humility, of self-awareness. It is a path that acknowledges the difficulty of life, the reality of suffering, and the need for patience and discipline. It is the way of resisting the quick fix, the easy solution, the tempting escape. It is the way of confronting our demons, of choosing not to be controlled by them, and of walking in the light of truth. Each day, we face a choice between opening these doors and walking a different path. The demons may call, but they are not our masters. And in the moments when we face these choices, when we stand before these doors, let us remember that there is always another way, a way that leads not to darkness, but to light, not to slavery, but to freedom, not to isolation, but to connection. May we choose wisely, darling. Temptation is a subtle and pervasive force, an almost invisible hand that guides our thoughts, actions, and desires toward paths we may later regret. It often appears in the most ordinary of situations, yet its power to sway the human heart is far from ordinary. When we speak of sin, we speak not merely of external acts of wrongdoings, but of internal struggles, the quiet battles of will, of mind, and of spirit. These struggles, though they may seem small or insignificant at first, carry within them the seeds of something much darker. In its essence, sin is the act of turning away from what is good, from what is true, from the better self we know we are capable of becoming. Temptation is the siren call that entices us to abandon our better judgment, to take a seemingly harmless detour down a path we cannot see will lead us astray. There is a profound connection between temptation and sin, a link that is as old as humanity itself. Temptation offers the illusion of fulfillment, the allure of satisfying desires that, in the moment, appear innocent enough. But sin, like a disease, festers beneath the surface of these temptations, gradually consuming the soul, subtly transforming it until one can no longer see the way back. The temptation to sin is not always obvious. It often comes disguised as something we think we need, a desire for comfort, control, or the approval of others. It promises relief from the burdens we carry, an escape from discomfort, or the satisfaction of long-held cravings. But in truth, each of these illusions masks the true nature of the temptation. A temptation that, once embraced, chains the soul to that which cannot give life. Temptation is not necessarily the overt dramatic forces we might imagine when we think of demonic influence, yet its impact is no less destructive. It is not always the flashy temptations of greed, lust, or violence that ensnare us. Often it is the more subtle, quieter temptations. The temptation to be complacent, to take the easy way out, to satisfy the immediate and forsake the long-term good. These are the quieter, more insidious forces that work their way into our lives, not as sudden violent storms, but as gentle winds that, over time, erode the foundations of who we are. They are the temptations to put off what is important for what is easy, to satisfy the fleeting desires of the moment, rather than pursue the lasting joys that come with patience and discipline. At its core, sin is an act of surrender, a surrender of the soul to something less than itself. It is an act of yielding to the temptation that promises pleasure, satisfaction, or escape, without regard for the cost. It is the seductive whisper in the ear that suggests, just this once, just this small indulgence, and all will be well. But sin is never small. It is always a departure from the truth of who we are and the truth of what the world was meant to be. The smallest act of sin, unchecked, can spiral outward, sending ripples into every corner of our lives, damaging not just ourselves, but those around us as well. And the further we venture down that path, the more difficult it becomes to see where it began and how to turn back. Temptation, by its very nature, lures us away from the right path with promises of something better, something easier, something more immediate. It is only through vigilance, awareness, and the steady exercise of virtue that we can resist its allure. But this resistance is not always easy. The struggle against temptation is ongoing, and there are moments when it seems as if giving in might be the simpler choice. Yet, if we are to live with integrity, if we are to fulfill our true potential, we must resist the allure of the easy, fleeting satisfaction that sin offers. The human heart longs for fulfillment, but that fulfillment is only found in choosing what is right over what is convenient, what is lasting over what is immediate, what is true over what is false. Many who hesitate to walk out of their surroundings in order to find reflection and contemplation, what is true over what is false. In the end, temptation is not just an external force, it is a reflection of the internal state of the soul. It reveals our deepest desires, our fears, and our weaknesses. The battle against temptation is not merely a struggle to resist external forces, but a struggle to align our will with the good, to bring our desires into harmony with the higher, nobler calling that lies within us all. And while the journey is difficult, it is the only path that leads us toward true fulfillment, the only path that brings peace to the restless soul. The concept of the three doors presents a profound allegory about the choices that shape our lives. Each door represents a distinct path, one that is not only about the decision we make, but also about the kind of life we choose to live. These doors stand before us, seemingly inviting, promising easy solutions or comforting escapes from the complexities of life. However, behind each door lies something far more significant than mere convenience. It is a revelation of what we truly value, where our deepest desires lie, and what we are willing to sacrifice for that which seems to promise fulfillment. The first door may seem the most tempting. It promises instant relief, immediate satisfaction, and a sense of control over our circumstances. This door speaks to the human inclination to avoid discomfort, to escape from the burdens that life places upon us. It offers a shortcut, a means of evading the harder path of growth and perseverance. It lures us with the promise of peace, of contentment, and perhaps even of success. But this success comes at a price. Through this door we may find ourselves indulging in temporary pleasures, ignoring the deeper call for meaning, and avoiding the long-term consequences of such choices. It is an illusion, for though the relief may be swift, it is fleeting. The door is an invitation to avoid facing reality, to silence the inner call to become more than we are, to remain within the comfort of a limited existence. The second door presents a different kind of allure. It is not the promise of instant gratification that draws us to it, but rather the idea of power, of mastery over our environment and others. This door invites us to take control, to assert our will, to dominate the circumstances and people around us. Here, the temptation lies not in what we receive, but in what we believe we can command. We may walk through this door believing that through our own strength, intelligence, or cunning, We can mold the world to fit our desires. The danger with this door is not only the arrogance that may come with such power, but also the isolation it fosters. Power is a seductive force, but it is also one that distances us from the very human connections and vulnerabilities that make life rich. We may find ourselves becoming more focused on the pursuit of control than on the relationships, values, or purpose that once gave our lives meaning. The price of this door is the cost of humanity itself, as we exchange genuine connection for the illusion of dominance. The third door offers yet another temptation. It is the door that beckons us to remain in apathy, in resignation, in the comfortable inertia of self-deception. This door invites us to surrender to a sense of helplessness, to convince ourselves that there is no choice but to accept the way things are. It is the path of least resistance, the door through which we allow life to pass us by, no longer willing to strive or to hope for something better. Here we are tempted to give up, to yield to the voices that whisper that change is too difficult, that the world is too broken, that we are too insignificant to make a difference. This is the door of despair, of resignation, where we close ourselves off from possibility, content to drift along with the current of circumstances. The temptation is to choose comfort in the form of numbness, to abandon our agency and our potential for something greater. Each of these doors is a choice, and within each choice lies an invitation to a different kind of life. The first door, offering immediate satisfaction, may give us temporary respite, but leaves us with a lingering emptiness. The second, promising power, can lead us to a life of cold detachment from others and a deep, insatiable hunger for control. The third, offering resignation, invites us to give up, to stop striving for a better existence, and to accept a life less lived. But these doors are not final, they are not absolute. Each one presents a different aspect of temptation, a different facet of our human nature that we must confront and overcome. Ultimately, the choices we make when standing before these doors reveal who we truly are and who we are becoming. There is always the possibility of turning away, of choosing a path that leads us toward a fuller, richer life, a life of integrity, purpose, and connection. The three doors, though they may seem to offer an escape or a solution, are not the true answers to our struggles. The key lies in choosing the path that requires us to grow, to confront our weaknesses, and to rise above the temptations that seek to bind us to a life of mediocrity. The true choice lies not in any single door, but in the courage to choose the road less traveled, the path that leads toward our highest calling. The illusion of control is one of the most insidious temptations that the human spirit faces. It is a quiet yet powerful force, often creeping into our lives under the guise of confidence, competence, and mastery over the world around us. It tells us that if we can just manage every aspect of our existence, if we can just manipulate the conditions of our lives to our liking, we will find peace, security, and fulfillment. It promises that the key to happiness lies in our ability to control our circumstances and outcomes. However, in reality, this illusion is a mirage, a deceptive fantasy that leads us further away from true peace and deeper into the realm of self-deception. At its core, the illusion of control stems from a deep-seated fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of vulnerability, and fear of the unknown. Life, in its complexity and unpredictability, often feels chaotic and out of our hands. Faced with the uncertainty of existence, we may cling to the belief that we can exert influence over everything, that with enough planning, enough effort, we can mold reality to our will. This illusion of control convinces us that if we have enough knowledge, resources, or discipline, we can avoid suffering, prevent failure, and dictate the course of our lives. The more we buy into this illusion, the more we become enslaved to the idea that everything must be within our grasp, that we must be in command at all times. And this is the source of suffering and control in every aspect of our lives. One of the most striking features of the illusion of control is how it leads to a constant, often exhausting pursuit of perfection. We become obsessed with the idea that we must anticipate every variable, eliminate every risk, and remove every element of chance from our lives. In doing so, we forget the inherent unpredictability of existence, the fact that there are forces outside of our control, both within and beyond us, that shape the course of events. We may go to great lengths to plan for every eventuality, to engineer outcomes to our liking, only to find that the unexpected, the uncontrollable, always has a way of creeping in. The more we try to control, the more we realize that true control is an illusion, a fleeting moment that disappears the moment we believe we have captured it. Today, it's about cultivating greater freedom. A number of people meet me all the time, wondering how I do it. A number of people meet me all the time, wondering how I do it. The consequences of believing too strongly in the illusion of control are far-reaching. When we attempt to micromanage every detail of our lives, we lose sight of what truly matters. We may become so fixated on controlling the external world that we neglect the internal world, the realm of our thoughts, emotions, and relationships. The obsessive pursuit of control can erode our sense of trust in others, in life itself, and in the divine order of the universe. We may grow increasingly isolated, seeing others not as fellow travelers on the journey of life, but as obstacles to our plans and desires. We may see vulnerability not as a natural part of the human experience, but as a weakness to be eliminated at all costs. In the end, we may find ourselves surrounded by walls of our own making, walls that isolate us from the beauty and richness of life itself. Moreover, the belief in control can lead to a false sense of security. We may feel invulnerable, as if nothing can touch us if we just maintain the right amount of vigilance and discipline. But this sense of security is fragile, and it is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of life's true nature. Life is not a series of controllable events. It is an ongoing unfolding of mystery, beauty, and chaos. By trying to control every outcome, we shut ourselves off from the wonder of the unknown, from the potential for growth that comes with embracing uncertainty. Control, in this sense, becomes not a source of power, but a cage that confines the soul. In reality, the true path to peace and fulfillment lies not in control, but in surrender. Surrender to the ebb and flow of life. Surrender to the mysteries we cannot explain, and surrender to the higher purposes that may lie beyond our understanding. When we let go of the need to control every aspect of our existence, we open ourselves to the possibility of growth, creativity, and connection. We learn to trust in ourselves, in others, and in the unseen forces that guide the world. Far from leading to weakness or vulnerability, this surrender allows us to experience a deeper strength, one rooted in acceptance, humility, and faith. The illusion of control, while seductive, ultimately confines us to a life of tension, anxiety, and striving. It is a path that leads to exhaustion, frustration, and disillusionment. By letting go of the illusion that we can control everything, we free ourselves to live more fully, to embrace the unpredictable nature of life, and to find joy in the moments that unfold naturally, without the need to manipulate or control. In this release, we discover a true sense of peace, a peace that arises not from control, but from acceptance and trust in the flow of life itself. The power of will and conscious choice is one of the most profound aspects of the human experience. It is the ability to make decisions that shape our lives, guide our actions, and define our character. In a world often defined by external circumstances, this inner power remains one of the few things truly within our control. Kisses of Farewell. The novel continues. Written by Gracie Macy. Monsignor Military High. Recorded by Gracie Macy. Written by Gracie Macy. The power of will is not merely about making choices. It is about making choices with awareness, with intention, and with a deep understanding of their long-term consequences. It is a force that, when wielded consciously, can transform our lives, our relationships, and the very course of our journey. At the heart of this power is the understanding that every decision, no matter how small, has the potential to influence the trajectory of our lives. We are not passive observers in the world, swept along by fate or circumstance, but active participants who, through the exercise of our will, can direct our lives in meaningful ways. The choices we make, whether they are about how we treat others, how we respond to challenges, or how we pursue our own aspirations, are not isolated events. They are threads in the fabric of our existence, each one contributing to the larger picture of who we are becoming. This understanding elevates the act of choosing from something that is done out of habit or impulse to something that demands reflection, discernment, and a sense of responsibility. The power of will is intricately linked to our ability to be conscious of our choices. Conscious choice is the opposite of mindless action or automatic behavior. It is the act of making decisions with full awareness of what we are choosing and why we are choosing it. This requires a level of self-awareness that allows us to recognize not only our desires and intentions, but also the deeper motivations that drive us. Often we make choices based on unconscious patterns, learned behaviors, or external pressures. But conscious choice involves stepping back and asking, what is the deeper purpose behind this decision? What values am I honoring, and what is the long-term impact of this choice? The more conscious we are of our choices, the more aligned they become with our true selves, our core beliefs, and our ultimate goals. One of the key aspects of conscious choice is the ability to choose despite external influences or temptations. The world around us is filled with distractions, pressures, and expectations that seek to sway our decisions. It is easy to be swept along by the tide of popular opinion or to act impulsively in response to immediate desires. However, the power of will is about standing firm in the face of these external forces, knowing that true freedom lies not in giving in to every whim or pressure, but in choosing what is right, even when it is difficult. It is the ability to choose with integrity, to choose based on a deeper sense of purpose rather than fleeting impulses. This requires strength, discipline, and the courage to go against the grain when necessary. Conscious choice also involves the recognition that we are not merely making decisions in isolation. The choices we make have ripple effects that extend far beyond our own lives. Our decisions impact those around us, our families, friends, communities, and even society at large. Each time we make a choice, we contribute to the larger story of human existence. This awareness deepens the responsibility that comes with the power of will. It is not just about choosing for ourselves, but also about considering the broader impact of our actions on the world. It is about recognizing that our choices have the power to either build up or tear down, to create harmony or conflict, to bring about healing or harm. The more consciously we engage with our choices, the more we understand the interconnectedness of all things, and the more we are able to act in ways that align with our values and contribute positively to the world. The power of will and conscious choice also plays a vital role in our personal growth and development. Every choice we make is an opportunity to become more of who we are meant to be. It is through the repeated exercise of will that we develop habits, form character, and shape our destiny. It is not a matter of making a few grand decisions, but of consistently choosing in ways that align with our highest potential. The power of will is the muscle that allows us to overcome adversity, push through challenges, and persist in the face of difficulty. It is the determination to rise after we fall, to continue the journey when the road is hard, and to make the right choices even when they require sacrifice. It is through this process of choosing again and again that we grow, evolve, and become the best versions of ourselves. Ultimately, the power of will and conscious choice is a gift that gives us the ability to shape our lives, to direct our path, and to become the people we are meant to be. It is a gift that, when used with awareness and responsibility, leads us toward a life of purpose, fulfillment, and meaning. In the end, we are the sum of our choices, and through the power of will, we have the ability to choose wisely, to choose with integrity, and to choose in alignment with the truth of who we are and who we are becoming. Every choice we make, every door we decide to open, carries with it consequences that ripple outward, often far beyond our initial understanding. The doors that beckon to us in moments of decision do not simply vanish once they are passed through. Rather, they lead to new realities, new ways of being, and new paths that we must walk. These consequences, though sometimes hidden, sometimes slow to reveal themselves, are inevitable. The choice to open any door, whether it is a door of temptation, convenience, or desire, alters the course of our lives and the world around us. What we often fail to realize in the moment of decision is that each action, each door opened, comes with a cost, and once we pass through, we can never fully return to who we were before. Thank you for watching.